said it's a historic run. It's never, ever been seen before, but there are very specific reasons that have to do with how the onshore sports books have really changed the betting dynamics. So, yeah, there is no end in sight. The top sports services, the gap between the sharps and the squares is as big as it's been since the mid to late 1980s. And it's going to keep going that way. Visit offshoreinsiders.com. Joe Duffy's picks off an NBA sweep last night. You got a ton of NBA winners tonight. And the Master Lock Line on the greatest start in any sport by any service ever. 61-21 start in college basketball by the Master Lock Line, all at offshoreinsiders.com. Who have been the top teams to bet on this year in terms of margin of cover? The number that we give you is going to be the how much they've covered by on average. At least 4 line games. UC Riverside is 3-0-1 by an average of 14.2 points per game. Well, Drake, by any criterion, well, not actually by any criterion literally, but I think by any fairly objective one when it comes to who's been the best team to bet on this year. Obviously, Drake, they're 11-0, covering by an average of 12.5 points per game. So again, they haven't been close. Morgan State 4-0 by 11.8. Missouri State 5-1 by 8.7. Boise State 6-2 by 8.2 points per game. Now, who have been the best teams to bet against this year? Again, the rankings are going to be based on margin of cover. This is how much a team has failed to cover by. Duke is 1-4 by minus 11.6 points per game. Northern Illinois 1-8 by 11 points per game in the negative column. And again, a minimum of 4 line games. Texas San Antonio 1-5 by 10.2. San Jose State also 1-5 by 9.8 points per game. Then down to Washington at 2-6 minus 9.2. And finally, Mississippi Valley State 2-7 minus 9.1. Now we'll add one more. Arizona State's been pretty bad. 1-6 by an average of 9 points per contest. Now, there are a few ways that you can support these podcasts, and I don't know why that isn't changing. There we go. Anyway, you know, do as it says on the screen if you're watching on the videos. But please like us, give us a great review wherever you are watching this or listening to it. It really helps us out. It's your vote of confidence, and the various search engines say, look, we want more content like this, and it's your way of telling us you want more free information. All right, here is our free winner in the NBA for tonight. New Orleans and Oklahoma City going over the 212. New Orleans is going under 5-2 this year, going under by an average of 13.6 points per game, making them the number 2 under team in the NBA. Oklahoma City is going under 4-2 by an average of 5 points per game. So again, you're probably going to say, wait a minute, did you misspeak? Didn't you just say you're going to bet this game over and then give me a bunch of under statistics? Well, again, your Joey Bag of Donuts is going to see 2 big under teams bet the game under. What is the term? And if you've been listening to my podcast, or certainly if you're a premium player for Joe Duffy's Picks at offshoreinsiders.com, you know my favorite term when it comes to gambling, regression to the mean. It especially applies in pro sports, and it applies to both sides and totals. An angle that says when you have 2 cumulative under teams, those teams go over. Yes, over at a 763, 552, and 25 rate. And that kind of personifies, that's what I said, it's the biggest gap between sharps and squares in a long time because of, thank goodness, all the states are legalizing sports gambling, so more and more people are betting like crazy. And again, I know I say this almost every day, but we're going to get some new viewers, new listeners. When you got the 4- and 3-letter networks, they've got guys that are giving out picks that, in some cases, they do know a lot about sports, but they know nothing about gambling. And in a couple cases, like Sports Illustrated, I know they got these entry-level writers that don't know much about anything. They just basically do AP-type recaps and all this other stuff, and they have no idea about gambling whatsoever. So again, the gap between the sharps and the squares, thanks to gambling legalization throughout the country, it's as good as it's been since the 1980s. The sports books are happy, but so are the pro gamblers. It's the square better. It's the average better. The Joey Bag of Donuts that's going to continue to subsidize the bookmakers and make sure there's overlays and underlays with both sides and totals for us. All right, let's just say you bet on your own, and let's just say you don't use one of our sponsors, an offshore sports book. Well, there are a couple ways that you can show your support here, and either way, great gifts. DuffyGifts.com. Yeah, these are both my wife's businesses. What I especially like at the Duffy Gifts, they have coolers. When we return to tailgate parties, it's a great way to keep your beer or your food hot or cold, however it may be. But they have a lot of stuff there, even like these little baseball helmet things. If you visit DuffyGifts.com, there's so much for males and females alike. But my personal favorite is the food and beverage warmers. Duffy Scents, that's SCENTS.com. So Duffy Scents and Duffy Gifts. Duffy Scents, my wife is a distributor for Scentsy. Great smelling stuff, for the bathroom, for the bedroom, or like I said, I just burn it in my office and it relaxes me. I'm not going to argue whether it's scientific or whether it's a placebo, but I'm just telling you, I really believe that these scents are able to calm me, and 2020 has been a rough year for all of us. But again, Joe Duffy's picks were 29-16 in 2021, that is. Tough not to be a little superstitious. As bizarre as 2020 has been, we have returned to normalcy. 22-8 this calendar year in the NBA. Ton of NBA winners for tonight.